Well, it's been a long time since I've talked about wrestling, but I guess it's time again. Scott Hall, rest in peace, has passed away at the age of 63. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, very influential, one of the most important wrestlers in the 90s and heading into the 2000s. He was there for a lot of the Attitude Era, previous to that and post that. He had legendary matches with Shawn Michaels, the legendary ladder match that he had, the legendary match with 1-2-3 Kid, where 1-2-3 Kid won and beat him. The NWO being a part of the Wolfpack with Kevin Nash, helping Sting come up with the character Sting by kind of pitching the Crow character to try to change it up from the old Sting character that he had. Scott Hall died in Marietta, Georgia. He broke his hip last month and needed to get hip replacement. He was placed on life support after suffering He was placed on life support after suffering a series of heart attacks and developing a blood clot following a planned hip surgery. So he had very bad complications out of a hip surgery, and it's one of those things where you think that these types of procedures are routine, but I mean, I guess there is no routine surgery. Anytime any of your family members or any of your friends, anybody that you care about goes into what seems like a menial surgery, make sure you hug them tight. Make sure you let them know that you love them. And now that's not to say that Scott Hall didn't have his own list of problems coming up. Everyone knew about a lot of his issues. There was a ESPN 30 for 30, I want to say, on Scott Hall. On Scott Hall trying to better himself from his addictions and alcoholism and drugs and pills and all these different things. Scott Hall was well known for having those types of issues. As a matter of fact, whenever he was in WCW, they did a storyline where he was an alcoholic and he would come to the ring drunk, which I thought was, even when I saw it, and I was a young kid at the time, I thought it was tasteless, completely tasteless. Knowing all of the different challenges that Scott Hall had going through his career, he died at 63, which for wrestlers, that's pretty damn good, man. You'd be lucky to get to 80, but 63, Jesus. 63 for wrestlers, man. Most wrestlers die in their early 50s. I'd hate to average it out and see, but the 90s and early 2000s, and probably the 80s as well, a lot of the wrestlers had a lot of bad habits, especially whenever it came to being on the road and trying to keep their body in order and trying to keep their mind in order, doing all of the things that they did to try to stay straight only whacked you out a little bit more than what you planned anyway. So a lot of this stuff, it's easy for people to say, oh, well, it's the wrestling business. Oh, the wrestlers are irresponsible. They're not disciplined. But at a certain point, once you've been living that lifestyle long enough, you need to escape. You need to get out of it. You need to try to figure out something else. And that's what a lot of guys struggle with, because it's such a unique business that it's hard to get into anything else. It's hard to get into any other business because it's just a fun business where you're traveling the roads with your friends. I had a great experience meeting Scott Hall. I wrestled his son Cody 8 or 9 years ago down in Georgia. I think it was for Wildside Wrestling, NWA Wildside, or something like that. It was something down in some shit promotion down in Georgia. And Cody and I were about the same size, so we're big boys. We're both about 6'7", 250 pounds at the time. And it was cool because as we were putting the match together, Scott was there helping us put it together. And I had a moment where I was thinking about when I was a kid, and I was like, man, I grew up watching this guy. This is crazy. And now I'm standing here, and he's just spouting out all of this advice and being like, yeah, Cody, you do this. Ron, you do this. Y'all guys. And it was really cool having this moment, putting together a match with one of your idols that you grew up watching. and them being so cool. And this was right after I think the 30 for 30 documentary came out. So he was in a good spot at the time, and it was a really good experience for me. So I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate all the time that I spent as a kid watching Scott Hall, because a big thing about wrestling that you don't necessarily think about when it's entertainment, you're doing so much more than what you really think you're doing. You're providing entertainment, yes, but you're also providing motivation, you're providing inspiration, and Scott Hall gave me some inspiration. He helped me become a professional wrestler. So, R.I.P. Scott Hall. Hopefully we won't be having too many more deaths like this, but everybody has to die eventually, but hopefully the variables will change, and it won't be because they were living a bad life and being unhealthy. So, yeah, guys, hug your family members whenever they're going into surgery. Love your family. If you have any family members who have issues with substance abuse, try to be as patient as you can with them and encourage them to get help to try to get better. So R.I.P. Scott, thank you for the memories, and thank you for helping me become the person that